my name is Maria Adonis, and I'm going to talk about the Metro Rail System project proposal and what my analysis tells me if it should be implemented or not. So before I start, I want to give some background about what this project is about, to just refresh and understand what we're looking at. So the Metro-Dade County Authority is trying to implement a new railway for Homestead and wants to just extend their transit. So to do that, it will be very costly, and they're trying to pay it through bonds. But if the bonds are to fail, the Miami taxpayers will have to make up for those costs through taxes. So that is not fairly good because they will be paying for a high amount of a project that didn't even get implemented or benefits them in any way. So we definitely want to avoid that. So these analyses that I will be talking about will make sure that the Miami-Dade County does not implement this project if it harms them more than benefits them. So let's start off first with the costs and benefits, and we will see this costs and benefits through two different analyses: the financial cost analysis and the socioeconomic analysis. So let's start. Costs and benefits, the financial and socioeconomic analysis. So here's some of the costs that will be discussed and will be seen and analyzed in the financial analysis. So we have the startup cost of about million dollars, right? So $70 million to start. And we have the fixed cost, which is a constant annual fixed cost of $39 million, and a one-time compensation cost of $162 million for Miami residents that were affected by the construction of the project. So that's really important to take into consideration. That will be part of the cost, the initial project cost, and the annual fixed cost that will need to be taken into account for this project. Those are the variable costs, so cost that includes the trips of annual car passengers, bus passenger trips, and most importantly, the operating and maintenance cost of the Metro Rail. So who will be taking care of the tracks? What employees are we going to have? The security, people managing tickets. So all of this cost needs to also be thought about for starting and launching this project. There's also going to be the discounted cost, which is total cost of the project and just present monetary value, which we will also be seeing further on in numbers. So here's also some of the financial analysis benefits that we will be discussing, right? So it will be the total trend for benefits and monetary value. So, throughout this project, there's people going to buy tickets, there are people who are going to be boarding this. So what will we get in return? What private benefits is the Miami-Dade Transit will gain, right, from it? Also, the discounted benefits, as I mentioned before, the total benefits of the project, which are really representing the monetary value in present time. Now that we discussed the financial analysis, benefits, and costs, let's go over the socioeconomic benefits cost analysis, focusing on the costs. So there is the social cost in this analysis, which is like the cost of traffic delay, annual car and bus trips per passenger, with and without the project, gas consumption, and its effect on air quality. There's also the startup cost that we need to take into account, just like we did for the financial analysis, which we will see why that is in the next slide. And then the variable cost, which is, once again, annual mass travel with and without the project, annual car and bus passenger trips operating, amount of private trips made by people, and gas consumption. And we also have, again, the fixed cost, the cost and annual fixed cost of $39 billion, the compensation cost of $162,750,000 for the civilians that were affected by the construction of the project. Some of the benefits that we will see through the socioeconomic benefit cost analysis is the environmental benefits, such as the benefits of improved air quality, which is really important. Who wants to live in a polluted area? Also the variable cost, as we mentioned before, which will give you variable benefits as well, and the social benefits of a decrease in the number of mobile accidents, an overall saving of time, benefits in gas reduction prices, benefits in reduced traffic, and savings in gas consumption, which all of these can add up and will eventually show a really big benefit compared to the cost invested. So these are just a summary of some of the benefits and costs that we see, and now let's go over the cost of the socioeconomic analysis. We already covered the cost. So we already went over the costs and benefits. So now let's talk about why they were kind of different. So as we saw before, a lot of their variables were different, and there's a reason for that. The financial benefit cost analysis for the Metro Transit project focuses more on monetary metrics, assessing initial investment, variable costs, and potential returns. So pretty much the beneficial benefit cost only foresees the finances, only sees the money. It doesn't really take into account anything else. Therefore, it's just financial, as in the name says. But the difference is that the community socioeconomic analysis takes more of a holistic approach, considering not only financial factors but also social well-being, such as traffic reduction, safety improvements, improved air quality, and time savings. Unlike the narrow financial analysis, the socioeconomic assessment provides a comprehensive view of the project's impacts on both monetary and non-financial aspects, offering insights into the community's overall welfare. So it not only focuses on financial aspects, but also on the community's welfare. What is it improving? What benefits it giving that we cannot see, but that we can feel through our daily lives, right? So that's also a really important benefit to take into account, because not everything will just be seen in money. Not everyone will just care about the financial benefits that they get from the transit rail, right? So now let's move on to the important concepts in the analysis that are important to take a decision and are important to know and that we learned throughout the class. So we have the opportunity cost, right? So to start this project, there was an initial cost, which we remember is from $70 million. There's also been the compensation cost, which is added to the overall cost, and so on. It is around $232 million. So that's quite a lot of money. So the opportunity cost is this money that I mentioned already, right? The 232 million that could have been implemented into another project. So if this project were to fail, that was an opportunity cost that could have been implemented for the time and the money for another project that could have been more beneficial to the community. So throughout this analysis, this opportunity cost is really important because we want to make sure that this is the best alternative that we have. This is the best project that we have to invest our money on. And we will see towards the end if this cost should be implemented into this project. There's the with and without principle that is also very important. We can see a comparison between having the project and not having the project. With the project, there will be less traffic, improved air quality, less trips taken by car, and an overall higher amount of people just taking public transportation of the Metro Rail Transit. So that will have a lot of good net financial benefits and a lot of good of socioeconomic benefits that will outweigh their costs, as seen here, with a net financial benefit that outweighs the cost. And again here for the economic benefits, a 381 million benefits outweighing the 108 million benefits in dollars, right? So that's also a pretty good sign to see. And as I mentioned, if we don't have the project implemented, there will be less public transport trips and an increased traffic and car passenger trips. So it's really good to have this principle so that we can compare between the two and see if we are taking the right decision, right? If we're taking the best opportunity cost. So that's good to take into account. We have the non-market benefits. So once again, benefits that can't really be quantified for. We can try to put them into quantification, but overall, in general, they're not really quantified for. So we have the improved air quality, socioeconomic benefits, accidents, and time savings, which are also very similar to the public goods that this project is bringing. So with the with and without principle, some of the things that the project brings is public goods. So it has reduced traffic, improved air quality, decreased time consumption, reduced accidents, and just more conveniency for a lot of elders who do not own a car, a lot of students that need cheaper alternatives or cannot own a car yet. So these public goods are really good to take into account for this project. And if we take into account these benefits that people are taking towards all these public goods, is around $154 million, which is pretty good, but it's also just an estimate since we don't have all the public goods. Public goods can be pretty general. It's about what you feel, not really monetary value, so it's just an estimate. And then we have the damage compensation cost that, as I mentioned before, is just a compensation for the people that got affected by the construction of this project. So now moving on, we're gonna see the results, the final results. So the analysis results. So here's an overview of the results that I got from both analysis. So we have the financial and the economic analysis. I will go more into detail into the next slides what this benefit costs, but just like an overall visualization of what the costs are. In the next slide, I will explain the financial analysis one in more detail. So, as we can see over here, the financial benefits are of 6,300,000,3,394, a really big number, right? And it's almost doubling than the cost. Actually, it reached the billions, so that's pretty good. We're seeing just a cost that's less than the benefit, so the overall benefits outweighed the cost. So that is really good to see for the project. The net present value as well, so just the present value that it would be now, is also really good. It's around $3 billion. A really good number to see for this project. And the benefit ratio is also higher than 1.10, just pretty much showing that this will be good, that it will have a good generation of money as it goes on and starts growing. So we started with only $70 million for this project, and we ended up with $6 billion. So it's a really good amount of benefits that we're seeing from just the initial cost. So the analysis indicates that the financial benefit outweighs the cost, which means the project will most likely generate more positive financial value than the initial cost. The net present value is positive, which means the project is expected to generate more value than the cost. So this is for the financial analysis. So just from the financial analysis perspective, the project is good to go and should be implemented. But let's see how the socioeconomic analysis looks like. So for the socioeconomic analysis, we see 12 billion in benefits. So that's also pretty high. Oops, sorry, I accidentally went. Okay. But we also see costs that is about 2 billion, which is lower, way lower, actually more than quadrupled in here, which is a really good sign, like really a good sign. And I think the socioeconomic analysis focuses on really important benefits. You know, it's about the welfare of the community, the welfare of the Miami-Dade County. So the government should really look at this project and, you know, do this and take into account. This will do good for the community. It will have really good benefits for the community. We also have a good net present value that is positive right here. That's also pretty good. A higher cost ratio, a higher benefit cost ratio of 1.0, which also indicates a positive net present value, as we have seen over here. And it's good. It just means that numbers are increasing. There's going to be no debt. Everything is just increasing from the initial cost. So this analysis indicates that the socioeconomic benefits outweigh the socioeconomic costs, meaning that the project is most likely to generate more positive economic value and welfare than the initial cost. The benefit cost ratio is higher than 1.0, meaning it will have a positive net value. So overall, this is looking really good. It's looking like this project should be implemented and will have really good long-run benefits. So now, as I mentioned before, the project was funded through bonds, but as I mentioned before, it could be a high risk, because if it's not good, they will have to pay all that money back. And through what money? The taxes of the citizens. So here's some alternatives that could be good for raising money. So government grants, subsidies, federal, state, or local government. There could also be just sponsorships. You know, there's a lot of people that would advocate for more public transportation in Miami. So if they get these groups to advertise it more, to advocate for them, it's possible that a lot of people would want to invest in this, would want to see this happening without having to just fully rely on the bonds and just the people that are willing to help to implement the system. So that's just some alternatives and suggestions. And now let's go to the conclusion. Let's wrap everything up and what the Miami-Dade Transit Authority should do about this, if they should implement the project or not, which so far is looking like they should implement it. So the financial and socioeconomic analysis consistently indicated positive indicators, such as a positive net present value, a high benefit cost ratio greater than 1.0, and a internal rate of return surpassing the cost of capital. The project is deemed significantly more financially and economically beneficial than its initial cost, making it a favorable opportunity. It contributes to public goods such as good air quality, reduction in traffic, decreased time consumption, and fewer accidents. Citizens of Miami-Dade are assured that they won't bear the burden of debt, as the project proves mutually beneficial for both the Miami-Dade County Transit and the Miami-Dade community. Given its high beneficial and economic viability and number of benefits, the recommendation is to proceed and implement this project. This project will definitely be a good benefit for the citizens and for the Miami-Dade, transit, since they will get a lot of people to want to ride the Metro Rail instead of having to take their own car. There's less traffic, there's less of a chance that they will be in an accident, and overall, since a lot of people might be using it, the cost of the Metro Rail won't be as expensive. So through all this analysis and through the numbers that we got, they should definitely implement this project. It will have very good welfare benefits and good financial benefits in the long run. Thank you very much, and I hope you were able to understand and see